Do you need one of the most universal sorcerers mid to late game builds, with the ability to do all types of content and not require any legendaries or uniques, and a very simple build guide that allows you to universally swap between multiple specs and multiple core abilities? Then I got the Sorcerer's build for you. What's up, world? Streaming back in there, pitching all things Diablo 4. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. We're getting into the Sorcerer's build, and this is a lightning build for the Sorcerers. I've seen a lot of comments on people saying that fire just doesn't really feel good, and the firewall and stuff like that doesn't really feel good, and I definitely agree, where we're going to have a lot more chunk damage with this build overall that you'll see over the course of this video. Now, I also want to preface, as I said, this is a very universal build. It's going to allow us to do a couple different things, and we're able to swap out a bunch of different main abilities to then let us translate and possibly transition into full ball lightning build or a ball lightning build where we're able to kind of get that legendary and all of that up and running. And just like with all my build guides and build videos with Diablo, I use a multitude of tool sets, one of those being today's sponsor. Mobalytics is an insanely intuitive and innovative app that lets you deep dive into an incredible amount of useful tools for all your build creation needs. And this free application, and yes, you heard me right, it is completely free. This app has helped me so much with my build creations and comparing and contrasting different statistics. I was able to find incredibly interesting and different unique builds compared to mine, and even got to try out Crip's ultimate fire sword. I love being able to glance over at my stat priorities and build priorities just right within the game. And the new highly anticipated build planner is available now to use directly in-app. And this allows me to completely redefine my build and plan out new strategies without having to use any of my precious gold. Again, you can download for free using my link down below. Thank you again to Mobalytics for sponsoring this video. Now let's just jump right into the build itself. We're going to go ahead and take 5/5 Arc Lash. We're going to go into Enhanced Arc Lash. Usually you want the reset cooldowns, especially for this build with the ultimate, so we're going to go ahead and take that one. We're also going to take Firebolt, which you'll see will play into a lot of this, and it usually is for every build. We're also going to take Fireball, and jumping down into here, we'll take Potent Warding. Then we'll go 7, or at least 5/5 Uncharged Bolts, which I like this one. Again, this one can be swapped out for Ball Lightning, or even Chain Lightning. However, you need the Ball Lightning Legendary, which I haven't even got the drop of yet, so kind of had to work with this build, and it actually is really good and does keep up there with Ball Lightning, if not just as good. We're going to jump down here. We're going to get into the Enhanced Charge Bolts, of course, and then we'll go into Destructive Charge Bolts, which will allow us for some dampening there on the damage overall. However, you can also take the 25% stun damage, which is really, really good too, especially on boss phases where they get staggered. Now, the reason I did this one is so that you could push kind of higher Nightmare Tiers. Jumping over to Devastation, we're going to take 1 of 3, and then we're going to go 3 of 3 into Elemental Dominance. We jump down here, we're going to get Flame Shield, we're going to go ahead into Teleport, then Enhanced Teleport, and then the Shimmering Teleport for that damage reduction. 3 of 3 Glass Cannon, of course. We're going to go ahead into Ice Armor, and then Enhanced Ice Armor. Jumping down into here, we're going to go into Align the Elements. We're going to get 2 of 3 on this one. I think it's usually pretty good. Don't really need to max this one out. However, you can if you want. And then we're going to go 3 of 3 into Mana Shield. And then jumping down, here's the most important part right here, which of course is mostly with all main direct builds on the Sorcerers, which is the Inner Flames 1, and then going into 3 of 3 Devouring Blaze, which is going to give us a ton of damage on those burning enemies. Now we'll jump down into Static Charge. We're going to get 3 of 3 Static Charge, and then we're going to get 3 of 3 Invigorating Conduit so that we can get some mana regeneration. Really don't like Shocking Impact. However, you can go with that one if you want. Jumping down here, we are going to grab our ultimate, which is the Unstable Currents. We'll grab Prime Unstable Currents and the Supreme Unstable Currents. However, some people do avoid this one. If you want to point the point somewhere else, you can. However, I do put it in there. Go ahead and grab the Cursing Currents and then Electrocution. And we're also going to grab Conduction, which is going to give us some move speed there. However, 3 of 3, you can really take this out if you don't want. It does give a little bit of nice move speed when you get the critical strikes. I kind of like it. We're not going to take into here, which is the Shock Shells have a chance to stun enemies. It just doesn't play too well in my opinion, and kind of has like a little bit of mitigation there. However, you could swap this out. You could definitely take, and if you didn't want the actual movement speed there mechanic, I like it for the speed leveling purposes. You can go in here and then have that 9% chance to shock enemies. Again, very universal build there, so you can swap those out just fine. Jumping down in here, we take Veer's Mastery, and this is because close enemies, they take more damage. We're also going to apply more damage, and it's going to just do more damage overall. Crackling Energy 1 here is just not that good. Again, if you want to swap out the main utility here, which is Charge Bolts, you can. You could take Chain Lightning. I've seen a lot of Chain Lightning build. Not a huge fan because of the AoE, kind of feels a little messy. You can't take Ball Lightning if you don't have the actual Legendary. It is a little rough there though, and I find that Charge Bolt is a great replacement. Also going to the Paragon board very, very quickly here. I'm going to have this outlined on the actual website so you can go there and kind of check it out and everything, but I will have a more detailed kind of build with the Paragon board as I've revamped this, or I'm working on revamping this one for the Ball Lightning, or at least when we do the switch overall. So you kind of see we go through here and we do just have these main ones, which Elementus we want for that dealing damage, that X multiplier with the different elements. Then we also have another X multiplier here with the Exploit and another X multiplier with here with charged, and then even another X multiplier here with tactician. So we're getting those X multipliers. You can kind of evade some of this stuff for now if you wanted to and get those X multipliers as quickly as possible, which is probably more beneficial than anything. However, for now, we're going to go ahead and take what this is. This is kind of just an outline so you could see some of the stuff that we're taking so far and kind of what we're going through with this Paragon board itself. However, this mostly is the leveling build, and this is really going to help you mid to late game, as this build does really chunk a lot more, in my opinion, than what Fire can do. Fire does feel like a slow build up. However, this one is very chunky, and so you're just going to kind of power through enemies very quickly. You won't even need to wait for that build up, and you can just kind of push through. Last but not least here, before I forget, the skill enchantments. We're going to go with the Fireball enchantment, and we're also going to go with the Fireball enchantment. That's going to allow for that burning, direct damage burning, as you see with Devouring Blaze, and then we're also going to get that Fireball explosion, which is going to give us a ton of more damage. Overall, that should about cover it. I hope this build kind of helps you and gets you more into the Sorceress, because it seems like it's been a little bit of a slow play. However, this build does really feel fun to play. Your main stuff here, and I'm just going to go over the Legendaries very, very quickly, because you're probably going to want this one, which is casting at basic skill. Gives you some reduction on that mastery, and you're going to want that cooldown, restores 15 mana. These are the two main Legendaries that you're going to need, and you really don't need them. They're very easy to get. One is in Domehane Tunnels, and the other one is in Witch Tower, I believe, or Witch Walker, whatever it's called. It's one of the two dungeons. You'll find it. They're easy to get. You just complete the dungeon, so they're not hard to get. Like, you don't have to get an RNG drop with those, so very easy to get. And as you see, my gear is not very good, and I'm still chunking enemies in these later areas and even pushing through into T4, as well as some NMs. So you see, if you have better gear than this is going to scale way better and possibly be even better than Ball Lightning. We'll have to see. Overall, though, should about cover it. If you enjoyed today's video, like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuces.